everyone, and welcome to another DaraChat. My name is Daramouthe, or Dara for short, because some people say Daramouthe, and I feel disappointed every single time, and they're old enough to know the difference. Ugh, I, yeah, it's one of those things where when I do my pay up for streams, I go through and somebody gets it, kind of mispronounces it, and I kind of do it, and then after that, they're like Daramouthe again. It's like no. I, I can only do so much. I can only do so much. But of course, I get to have on the wonderful gentleman, Sir Slender. How are you, good sir?
I am doing well. It is a pleasure to be here, Daramouthe.
Oh, thank you. And I like your fancy suit, good sir.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Most slender people have some kind of suit like attire, but only I have a monocle and top hat.
That's true. Except, oh, well, of course, your tie is red, where others are black. There's that.
Oh, yes, I had to distinguish myself a little extra from the other
Yeah,
Slendermen.
yeah. Because man, how old is the Slender thing nowadays? That is Man, that was like late 2000s right there when I remember that coming out. And it was just
Yeah,
the 8 page ordeal. I think that was yeah, that was a long time ago. But now it's grown into
that
this.
sounds like the game. The
Yeah,
game where you had to go around and collect the pages. It initially started as a creepypasta story.
yes, that is true. You are correct. It did, and then it became a game, and then it kind of blew up from there. Eventually, it got a movie, but there's also some controversy stuff with
Yes,
that.
yes, of course.
Yeah, that was an interesting time to say the least. But now Slender Man is sort of like it's there, but it's not really as prominent as it was long ago.
No.
Which it's not that long ago, but it's old enough. I would think
In
is
the
the best.
age of how technology has moved and how swiftly our history has moved, it is now considered old, yes.
That is true. I remember. Oh man, there were other ones too, but Slender Man's probably the one recent one. Um, it's still there, but it's not there. And then you have a bunch of other horror like games, I guess that was first one was a very very horror like game, and then of course the other ones after it too. But then you have some other ones where um like the I don't know if it's in the same, it is a in the horror category, but I don't know if I'd put it the same, the Five Nights at Freddy's games.
Mhm.
That's been going pretty strong for quite some time, to be honest. Um, I don't
Yes.
I don't know if you've touched those games at all, but
I've never really touched the games. I've touched the lore a little bit, just
mm,
reading up a little bit because I've had people or friends interested.
mm.
I know more a lot more about Willy's Wonderland.
Oh yeah, the one with Nicolas
Nicolas
Cage in it.
Cage, yes.
Yeah, and I actually did see that one. It was sort of funny because that's I don't know if they were trying to rip on or some of the effect, but it was sort of in lieu of, it was trying
Oh,
to
they
be a
were
more,
definitely doing the Five Nights at Freddy's thing, and it was
yeah.
just
And it was
they
funny
did it perfectly.
yeah, and Nicolas Cage barely spoke a word. I just remember the
Yes.
biggest thing in the movie was like it was the beginning of the movie. Then you have, I think his car broke down or whatever, and in order to pay it off, he had to do this like security thing, and then he's going to
Yes.
clean this place, and throughout this whole thing, he's just barely saying a word, and
He
then
actually says I don't think he says a single word throughout that movie. His character is supposed to just be like the silent main character like at Five Nights at Freddy's, and
mm,
he's just there tearing up all these different animatronics as they're tearing up all these teenagers, but he just
yeah,
takes a scheduled break every time to make sure
yeah,
he drinks that energy drink.
yeah, the energy drink and plays the pinball.
Yes.
I was like, what movie is this? it's a, it's such a rip off or something like that. But I mean, a lot of people were like, "Oh man, that's sort of like that Five Nights at Freddy's and all that stuff." But I mean, Five Nights at Freddy's did get its own movie too, so there's
Yes.
that.
Yes, it
Um,
did.
but did you? So you haven't probably seen the movies then either. Uh, have you?
I have not yet.
Okay. Yeah, I saw the first one a few times actually, but it was the beginning of the story was kind of I don't know how to describe it. It felt like it was a bit over the place, but
Mm,
it needed something, and so over the period of the movie, it kind of you kind of are there. I enjoyed it because I've been um, in that the whole thing of it from the beginning of the first one. Actually, the way I found it was Markiplier. To be honest with
really?
you, yeah, the way I found Five Nights at Freddy's was well, I heard about it and I was looking up videos, and then Markiplier pops up because he's trying it out for like the first time or whatever, and then that kind of history just kind of goes with itself after a while.
Hmm,
Yeah, it's people. I'm hoping he may be in the second one, but he wasn't able to be in the first one because he was doing something else, and so the scheduling just couldn't work, as far as I remember hearing about. But I mean, the the ability to have him in there would be tremendous because I mean he's known as the king of Five Nights at Freddy's, so there's that. But yeah,
interesting. I didn't even know that. I
yeah,
don't really follow Markiplier that much anymore. I know of his like music stuff that he's done, like the
really.
meme music stuff that he's done in the past. But
Um,
I don't really like follow a lot of content creators in general. I mostly watch Asmon. I'm one of the retard roach army kind of thing.
oh,
Asmon Gold.
oh yeah. Oh no, that's interesting. Well, and I don't follow much of the big ones either. It's just that connection of Five Nights at Freddy's and Markiplier. That's where that
Mhm.
whole thing started. And I haven't really watched much of his stuff, after a certain point either, because he's just you start watching other people and the people you used to watch, you kind of like Captain Sparkles.
Oh yeah, a lot of the people I used to watch and the change in their content and everything, it's not the same.
Yeah, well, and you grow up and you kind of grow out of certain things, but
I don't know. There's certain things that I can never grow out of, like the old iDubbbz content cops.
oh, oh yeah, I've heard about that.
The new ones are not very good. The new one, I should say.
The new one, yeah, that was the one that was widely talked about for quite some time by others.
Oh,
Was
it's still being talked about, or at least that whole drama situation is still being talked about.
yeah,
My whole
yeah,
well, that's part of my whole thing is being a drama, connoisseur.
kind of a drama connoisseur. So do you consume drama like a fine wine, or is this just because of what you enjoy going after?
Uh, it's most of what comes across my timeline, but it's also quite enjoyable to watch a lot of it unfold.
Right, and that's understandable because I can imagine there are some people who are haters, some people are just and all sorts of stuff. But I really, it just, I just don't care at a certain point because I mean,
Oh, I
the whole
don't care. I just
yeah,
find it funny and I like to comment on it and things like that. I don't like to be a part of it.
right. You're more the observer from the outside, basically.
Right, exactly.
Mm. But you also say you follow Asmund Gold. So what do you think about his recent events about Twitch and stuff?
His multi-streaming endeavors?
Yes.
Oh, I fully support that. It actually seems like it went over really well on his
Mm,
first one. He was over 100,000 viewers concurrently
mm,
across all the platforms.
mm.
Like that is quite a big number to have.
Yeah, and I mean, I wasn't. I can't remember totally what the true reason was. I know it was some issue with Twitch, but I mean,
Oh, so I can tell you all about that if you really want to know.
oh yeah,
Twitch
I
is
yeah.
actually might be in legal trouble. We'll see what happens. They're undergoing a lawsuit right now, but
Oh
it
okay.
may not completely go because you know how things go with bigger companies like that.
Mm,
But so Twitch has very unbalanced moderation.
Yeah.
They will ban people for some of the slightest things, but then allow some of the most egregious.
Yeah.
And if you know one of their most favorite streamers on that platform, Hassan Piker,
Mm.
and you probably know about some of the stuff that he has actually been saying on that platform that they haven't taken any kind. Yeah. Oh wow. No. I mean, it does sort of look like that, but no. I'm just a Slenderman. I did come across this Mr. Peanut before, but as you can see, I do not have a cane.
It's true. He doesn't have a cane, and he's not selling peanuts. There you go.
Exactly. And my body shape is very different. I am tall and slender.
Exactly. He's a very slender like. Ah. But
Well,
yeah,
it all came down where Twitch just kept allowing Hassan saying all
yeah.
these rhetoric. And
Mhm.
now it's just in a lot of hot water. And with Asmon doing what he's doing, they're probably very scared of what's to come.
I don't know if they're scared, to be honest, but I mean, though I think like
They're going to be so scared, but not like scared enough because they still have Big Daddy Amazon backing them.
yeah, obviously, and they also, I mean, what was it? They only banned Hassan for like 24 hours, I think it was.
Oh,
And
yes, it was only 24 hours, and on the day, he doesn't even stream.
it's like giving someone a break when they're already on break.
Oh, yes, my chat, my politics chat has had, quite a lot of,
Good
talk
crack.
about this situation.
Yeah, it's all silly. So I mean, yeah, I mean, for me, obviously, uh, not going off Twitch, but YouTube. YouTube has shown that it doesn't really. Um, it's in an arena where it is the biggest presence online, but it keeps falling into this hole of taking people off or doing stuff, and people get demonetized or banned and all this sort of stuff. And but usually they're mostly people who are only on one platform. And for me, it doesn't make sense to be on only one platform, because if something goes wrong with that platform, or they just like some people on YouTube where they just get banned or their account deleted, then what do you have,
Right,
right?
exactly.
And I know Asmund Gold has been over on Twitch for ages at this point. I would think.
Mhm.
But my issue is that multi-platforming oneself is nothing new, but because Asmongold, who's very well known, is doing it, it's now becoming this almost seeming like it's a almost amazing thing. And it's just like, no, it's been around. It's just it's going to be getting more notice. Uh,
Right. Well, you gotta remember there's always the normie population. This is the with games, anime, every type of media, the
mm,
normie population will always eventually when it becomes something becomes more mainstream, they will pick it up and they'll be like, "Oh, well, I never really knew about this type of thing." It's like, "No, it's existed. You just didn't know about it yet."
yeah. Or you didn't care to know. And Folsom says if
Right.
you're gonna ban someone for a day or a week, you probably shouldn't be colluding with them to find out when they aren't streaming or planning on taking a vacation. That is true, and unfortunately, Twitch is a mess of a place, even though they try to portray themselves as a best. Um, but yeah, just kind of using YouTube and Twitch as an example, they don't, uh, like you said, they don't moderate, or they don't. Um, what's a good word?
Well, they moderate unfairly.
Yeah. Well, unfairly, unjustly, they don't even apply their rules evenly. Is the real thing.
Yes, exactly. So,
Mm,
like a real world example of that one is literally VTubers. If they have a
yeah.
model that's in a swimsuit, they get banned. But
Yeah.
people will go in live streams with swimsuits and
Oh,
not get banned.
oh no, there was that one that was pretty much like rated R at a certain point, and she got back on maybe no more than 3 days after the fact. I'm just like,
Yep. So, fun fact about those streamers: a lot of them are actually the CEO actually watches and follows a lot of those.
and now you know why some of them don't get banned so quickly. Um,
Exactly.
but no, that's pretty interesting that Asmund Gold is gonna do that, because I think a lot of I think I my personal thing is, I think all creators need to do it, but some can't
Mm.
because of technical restraints or stuff like that.
Oh, yes, of course.
And there are exceptions to the rule, right? There are exceptions to the rule, but because of how some platforms are treating their creators or users, it would be best if people were on multiple places in case something happened. Because uh, again, using YouTube as an example, I just I just can't. There's no reason to anymore. There's no reason to anymore. You have so many platforms out there that are um, a thing, and maybe some of the people don't do that because of the whole money thing or reach thing. But at the end of the day, I mean, is it about money or is it about your content?
Right.
And that's the real question I think content creators have to ask themselves. Otherwise, it's just this. It's just this thing, and then they keep having to go complain to Twitter X, to the company. So they have to go to a third party to complain to the company that's on there. It's just like,
Yeah.
what is this? It's dumb all around, um but no, good for Adam Gold. So we'll see what, because I know he's doing I think he's still doing Twitch.
Yeah,
Um
he's still doing Twitch. He's just added, I think he added Kick and X
yeah,
as his multi-stream. I think he might be I don't know if he added YouTube as well?
I think the word was that he wasn't going to do it because of DMCA stuff.
Mm. Yeah,
Was
YouTube does I do have issues with not DMCA, but, certain
copyright.
songs get caught or whatever, and YouTube's just like, "No."
Yeah, yeah, they don't really have good recourse or whatnot. And Folsom says Twitch is the WNBA of Amazon. They lose money and stay afloat because of Amazon's money. Well, yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's a lot of, departments at Amazon, to be honest. AWS and retail basically covers the majority of everything else at Amazon.
yeah, yeah. Well, and what's the funny thing too is that Kick uses the same servers that Twitch does.
Yes. And Kick has actually been coming up, recently as well, which is, good. They've had a pretty, rocky reputation at first, but
Yeah, yeah. It'll be interesting to see how it goes, but because they're still on, because they're on the same servers as Twitch, that's going to be an interesting faction because of all that happened with that parlor situation a long time ago. Um,
right,
and so you have this instance where, Google has its thing, Twitch has its server thing, and of course, Rumble's building up from the ground up. But at the end of the day, it's just going to be interesting to see how well they play it out because if you're on the same servers that uh, got Parler thrown off because they were in some disagreement or whatever, then that might be worth taking a second look and saying, don't know about that. So, but that's just me. That's just me. Um, but yeah. So,
yeah.
but for you, what do you do per se? Do you multi-stream as well, or do you just stream to one place?
I do multi-stream. I started off multi-streaming because I didn't want to have the restriction of just being on one platform or being restricted by one platform. And
Mm,
it actually has already come into place where I dropped Facebook streaming because it's a pain.
yeah.
And every stream, no matter what, something was caught with for some reason that they muted part of my stream or another.
Mm. Was it like copyright stuff or something else?
Uh like music copyright and things like that, but a lot of it would just be like from games that I'm actually playing at the time and things like that. So it's like, well, this is just not even worth it.
Yeah. No, I think I heard that too for some other people. But I think it was like YouTube. For some people, some music in a game was getting them copyright. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, but I know you uh, stream here on Rumble, but where else do you stream to then?
I also stream on Twitch, Kick, X, and YouTube.
All
Oh,
right.
and TikTok.
Oh, and TikTok. Okay. And so from your experience, um, in doing all those, what has your experience been in that regard
Um, it's
between the
been
platforms?
between the platforms, there's not been much of a difference of experience overall. I think on X and TikTok, I get the most viewership overall, but very little interactivity. On TikTok, it's mostly bots right now. So, but I also don't really do a whole lot of like marketing myself or anything like that. So I don't get a lot. I don't like I don't have a lot of friends to like be like, hey, come watch me.
Yeah,
And if I did have friends, they mostly aren't watching me, they're mostly doing their own thing.
yeah,
So, I mean, it is what it is, but I just, keep at it. Every so often, some people will come in and will chat. Usually, it's on, like, Twitch or YouTube that I get some chat. Sometimes on Rumble, you'll pop in every so often, or some other people on Rumble will pop in, a few times people on Kick.
mm. But your biggest your from what it sounds like your biggest ones are YouTube and Twitch, or
When it comes to
yeah,
interactivity, it's YouTube and Twitch. When it comes to, like, the numbers, it's
mm,
X and TikTok.
TikTok. Yeah, no, I tried to upload the TikTok, but at a certain point I couldn't upload anymore. I don't know what I did wrong, but
Oh,
unfortunately I can't
that's
upload.
good.
Yeah, unfortunately I can't upload anymore. So I don't know if I uploaded too much at a time or whatever, but it is what it is. Um, but yeah, I actually there was one guy during one of my pay it forward streams who was streaming to like 11 platforms. I'm like, no.
Oh, that's too much.
I'm like no, no, that's not gonna happen because I I could barely, I do the two I do, between Rumble and YouTube, because you only have so much mental bandwidth to handle,
Mhm.
and I just can't. Maybe I might add one more, but after that, it's pretty much pushing it. Because you always have to make sure that everything's okay on all platforms. The information
Yes.
is correct and all this stuff, and certainly. Um, Competitors to YouTube and Twitch have a bit of a ways to go, but as you stated,
Oh, yeah, of course.
yeah, and Cake is certainly getting its light in the sun for a bit, but once that kind of fades off, we'll see how where they stand at that point. Because I mean, the whole Asmon Gold thing's gonna last for a bit, but it usually hype dies down after a while, more or less.
It's what happens with that hype that matters. So if Elon or whoever's working over at X, they decide to work with Asmon and they can improve the platform even better, because
Mm,
that's what Twitch has. That's what Twitch has over all the other ones is the integration, interactivity that you can actually do on that platform compared to the rest.
yeah.
Like all the tools and everything that you get that you can customize your stream, make it really interactive for your viewers, everything like that. If these other platforms, they're starting to add more with their APIs and things like that, but they get to that point and have some of them might need some UI updating and everything. But if they get to that point, then they can be a real toe to toe competitor.
Mhm. Yeah, well, I guess for YouTube, it's understandable saying they don't have the interactive stuff, but in essence, they don't really need to because they're still king of the
Their
platform.
primary thing is the video uploading, like the video watching. So their live streaming is like a second thought on YouTube.
Yeah, most likely might be their shorts, but I mean, for that regard, though, that's still what keeps them ahead of everyone else, is because one, they've been around longer, and two,
Yes.
because they have all that Google backing, basically. Like
Yes, that too.
they have all of that. Um, But yeah, no, that's pretty interesting, and because I always when I talk to people who multi-stream, I always want to try to get their perspective, because I only streamed it two, but when you stream beyond two, you're always wondering like what is their experience on different platforms, and so because I mean after a while you're gonna start saying, am I doing better here? Am I doing better there? That sort of thing.
Right.
Like there's some like everyone experiences platforms differently. Um, I've seen people who do real well on YouTube, or some will do better on Twitch, or some will do better on Kick, or some will do better on this or that or whatever, or Rumble. Um, it's just varies between the individual. Like for me, I do better on Rumble than YouTube. I still grow on YouTube, sure, but it's very quiet at times, and it's just one of those things where you're like, what is what. But
Mm.
I don't put too much emphasis on all that stuff because I do this thing because I get to talk to people like yourself across the way, which is always a fun thing to do. Because I know you were saying earlier that you're involved in other shows as well, where you do sort of something similar, like a.
Yes, I'm involved in one other podcast.
Mm. And what's the name of that podcast?
So it's a part of a series of podcasts called the Unsolicited Podcast. So they're all called something unsolicited. So the one I am a part of is Unsolicited Politics.
Unsolicited politics. So they have different unsolicited ones for different kinds of topics. Then, like
It's
unsolicited.
mostly sports topics. So it's I think they have a fantasy football and a wrestling one.
Mm, interesting. Yeah, I fantasy football. Don't know a thing about it. Probably won't touch it, but you know.
Yeah, the most I've done with sport fantasy sports is like sports betting type of stuff where I've had friends who would make like for basketball, he would put together like a tier list and stuff, and I would put my team out of that,
Yeah.
and it would hit or miss. But that's kind of the extent of my knowledge of
Right.
how most sports, other than like hockey. Hockey is the only thing I've actually watched.
Do you do you like any sports, or is it just of sort of because you're part of the podcast?
I don't hate sports. I mean,
Mm.
I'm just not really a sports fan. I don't sit there and watch them most of the I'm a big anime and gaming nerd. So that's
Yeah.
most of what I spend my time doing outside of looking for drama and controversy on or not looking for it, but
Yeah.
just going on to my social media and seeing what's going on.
So what is the for your gaming end? What game are playing now, or are you playing any at all?
Um right now I'm just kind of here and there playing a little bit of Marvel Rivals if you've heard of that one.
Yeah, I haven't played it myself, but I have heard of it. It seems pretty popular, to be honest. It,
It was super popular when it first came out. It's died down a little bit, but it's still pretty up there. It still has quite a few players overall.
mhm. Yeah, and yeah, I've watched some of the stuff, and I'm just like, no, not gonna play with that one. Um, but for gaming, I know that it was actually funny. They actually showed the Witcher 4 sort of tech demo,
Yes.
but yeah. Um, and I know a lot of people have all their different opinions, but what did you see that?
I haven't actually seen the tech demo. I've followed a little bit of the news regarding Witcher 4 and everything and stuff going on with it.
Mm,
Uh Witcher games to me, they started out really good,
mm,
but over time they moved away from the actual story that they were basically going off of, the book. Or is it
yeah,
books? I forget if it's
books.
more than one book. Yeah,
Yes, this is
it
one
is
more
more
book.
than one. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember now. So, yeah, and they changed the story up, especially in Witcher 4 from what I heard. So,
Well, and the reason was is because it's not canon
mm,
to the best of it. Those the games are not canon to the books. They take after a certain point, but after that, it's all fantasy. Because it's not really one. It's not really sanctioned by the author, but I mean he got paid to act for access to use the characters and stuff, but
right.
they're not canon to the actual story. Um, I do know that Sapkowski came out with another book, but I'm not sure if it's
Mm,
translated into English yet. So I'm not sure where it takes place. But I mean, for what it's worth, though, when Witcher 3 came out, I've been seeing a lot of people give it high praise for quite some time, just because of the looks and all the stuff. Because if you were to go back to, like, the first Witcher, right, it's
mm,
very the graphics are very wow, and then all the different mechanics within it. It's very you can tell it's aged. However,
yes.
um, as time went on, you had number two, which is sort of aged, but it's got that 3D point to it. And then you have number 3, which, um, as I understand it, in the beginning it did have issues, but over time it's gotten better. And I mean, I've played Witcher 3. I'm not the greatest at it. Believe me, I'm at like the lowest level, the lowest level to play the game. So that should tell you how much I can play that game. Um, when it gives you an only story mode, you go for that.
Right.
I'm not so good when I have to switch between swords, and you're just like, come on, please. Um,
Oh, I'm very similar. I'm not very big on action RPGs. I'm more of the old school JRPG turn-based, Final Fantasy back in the day where
mm,
action battle gauged at most.
yeah. The funny one is though is that the one that I've played, but it's not turn based, is the Crystal Chronicles, Final
Oh,
Fantasy
okay.
Crystal
Yeah,
Chronicles.
I know that one.
And it's funny because I've never played any of the Final Fantasy series.
Oh.
The main whatever it is. I've usually just played the offshoot of, because I can't remember why I got it. Was in the GameCube is when that
Mhm.
Crystal Chronicles came out. But then there was the Wii,
Yes.
which had the Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Crystal Bears, which was the second in the series. They didn't do another one after that, but they did like what was it? They did Wii games. Like you could go to the Wii store and buy games online, and you could,
Mhm.
which I did buy, unfortunately. But unfortunately, they didn't really take those games and kind of updated them enough to kind of bring them across to like to the Switch. Because I mean, like, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles: My Kingdom would have been a good game to have on the Switch, but you know how it goes for Nintendo. Sometimes they don't even update some games. They're just, it's a business. Um,
Right.
there's one game I'd like to see like remade or updated or whatever, and that'd be Skies of Arcadia. But I highly doubt they'll put any money into that, to be honest. Um,
That sounds familiar.
Skies of
I don't know
Arcadia,
if I.
yeah, it's a story about ships floating in the sky, and
Mm.
it's basically in a world where there are floating islands because of moonstones, is what they call them. It was, man, it was so long ago. Now for the disc for it, the GameCube disc for it is so expensive. Like you go
Really?
online, yeah, if you go online, the discs for them are so here. Let me see if I can't find. Nope. There we go.
Oh, that was back on Dreamcast too, that game?
It was it went to it got updated to go on the GameCube, but it did start out from the Dreamcast. I'm trying to find.
Yeah, I see now. The GameCube version is Legends.
Yes. But I mean, I found this one off of Amazon, and
Oh, wow.
that's, yeah,
$400?
yeah. This one's like $240.
Okay, that one, yeah, 239.99. Why is it? Jeez.
Yeah, but again, it's a game for the GameCube, and they really haven't updated it since then. Trying to find if
See,
there's
the only game for GameCube, actually, I think I have a few games for GameCube.
like the Dreamcast one is like almost $300. This is for the Dreamcast version. That's
Oh,
insane.
wow.
Um, I wonder if there's got to be at GameStop. I'm not sure GameStop has it, but we can see. There we go. Yeah, go. There we go. Skies of our Nope, key. There we go. That should give us some price. Oh, that's not bad. That's actually cheap. That's actually cheaper than the other ones.
Well, so, yeah, it wondering why it's so much on a lot of the other sites.
probably, probably
Well,
because
that one's obviously just a more used one, probably. Maybe I guess.
yeah, and one's the Dreamcast, one's the GameCube. But man, oh man, I really did enjoy playing that game. It's just it's unfortunate it hasn't gotten like an update or like
Mhm.
a remake of sort, like the Final Fantasy VII ones that got a remake basically. And I know a lot of people have um, very much like they don't like that, but at the end of the day, um, it does look really good though, like all the
It
graphics and
looks
stuff.
good, but didn't they split it up into multiple games, which was
Three, it's
just odd to begin with, and then they even modified the story a bit, which is also just odd.
mm. Well, and that part I can understand too because yeah, but it's still ongoing. We'll see how far uh, where it goes. I only have the first one. I know they put the second one because I'm on PC. So
Mhm.
I only have the first one. They know the second one they put out on PC not too long ago, but at a certain point I just don't have enough time.
Yeah, I know what you mean. 7 was always one of my favorites, although I'd have to say my overall favorite of the Final Fantasy series is either, 4 or, Final Fantasy Tactics Advance.
That was a Game Boy one, wasn't it?
Yes, it was a Game Boy Advance one. It was, so there was a Final Fantasy Tactics for, what was it? I think it was PlayStation Portable, the
Mm,
PSP,
yeah.
which was a really good one if you like tactics-based types of combat games where it's, like a grid-based field that you go around and do like that, turn-based.
Yeah.
That's what those types of games are.
Yeah. It's cuz I've played. I mean, again, I've played turn-based before because that's what Skies Over Kitty was. It was turn-based, but I'm really um, less about those and more about the free roam attack ones, like the new Final Fantasy.
Okay, so yeah, you like the action RPG ones.
It's yeah, it's the oh they had a name for it, like real time attack something. Because there was another game too I played a long time ago. It was on the GameCube. It was called Tales of Symphonia. Um,
Oh, that's one I was actually going to bring up. I still have that.
Oh yeah, it's a 2 disc. And it was a weird time because it's 2 disc. They do have it
Mhm.
on. They do have it on PC on Steam, but the problem of it is I think the port really wasn't good. Or
No, I have another Tales on Steam port. I think it's Vesperia. And
Vesperia.
yeah, the controls are not the best.
Yeah. See, that's the thing too. Is like when you're trying to port a console game over to PC, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And um, usually those are older games, but not newer games. Like say God of War. God of War started on the console, but for the newer ones, they put them on PC as well. And I enjoyed at least playing the first new one, but I can understand that for the older ones, the controls and stuff can get a bit wonky. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, I really hope they. Uh, it would be great if there was a way to have those sort of games move over uh, to PC, but it's always like a length of time of things. Then money has to go into it, and they're expecting money out of it. And I think that's what happened with um, the whole Final Fantasy was that they kept putting it exclusive first instead of putting it out there on as many places as possible.
Yes.
Like like it was PlayStation, right? It was PlayStation that had paid for the exclusivity. Same with the
Well, yeah, so that started with I think that actually started with 7 was when they got the exclusivity,
mhm,
because initially it was pretty exclusive to mostly Nintendo.
mhm. Yeah, and of course there's still some that are exclusive to Nintendo, but I do think as time goes on, you're probably going to see more stuff like the Steam Deck if you've ever seen that,
Right. Yes, of
because
course.
the issue is when Nintendo came out with the Switch, that was the thing to know that sooner or later. I mean, you could play games, but they're on your phone, but your phone's not really powerful enough. But when the Switch came out, and I'm not saying it was perfect when it came out either. There's still issues with it. When it came out, it showed that that's probably going to be more the next line of what gaming is going to be, console wise, is moving to
Mm.
a mobile port or a mobile portion or whatever you want to call that. The issue of it is though, is that not real. I'm not really sure if um, Sony has one or if uh, Microsoft has one, mostly because Microsoft, the Xbox is like Microsoft, and it's on the, PC as
S-
well.
So Microsoft had one that they were working on, but they canceled development of that.
Wow.
So I don't know if they plan on doing a handheld one in the future still at all, or what's going on with that. All I know is they still are doing their next gen console.
Mm-hmm.
Sony dabbled with handheld consoles previously, but they went over pretty well, but they weren't like massive successes. So I think that's why they haven't continued on that
Mm-hmm.
path.
Right.
Nintendo has always had major success when it came to handheld consoles, so it
Mm-hmm.
makes sense for them to continue to make a more of a, like a merger.
Yeah, because that. I mean, again, the ultimate I see is PC on mobile, right? But the more ultimate one beyond that would be AR VR, right?
Right.
Like if I don't know if you ever saw the movie, but there was a movie called Ready Player One, and that
I still have that on my list to watch. I've seen clips of it though, so I know like the whole gist of that movie.
yeah, I enjoyed the movie. Some people didn't, so I enjoyed it nonetheless. But the movie itself is about everything goes to this sort of online place, this VR type of place, like you have VR chat and whatnot. But
Right.
that's where I feel that the ultimate point is that sooner or later it's going to go to like VR AR because you're already seeing snippets of it out there. It's just right now it's on the mobile console, mobile desktop sort of thing. But I ultimately believe that's where it will head because people will want to play on the go. And
Hmm.
what doesn't say playing on the go, like Pokemon Go or um, being able to do something like this? I will say though, when the um, when the Vision Pro from Apple came out, um, that certainly was an eye opener of what could be that next step, right? Is to have that AR sort of mess with menus and fields while you're away. Like what, imagine if you made a game that was AR or augmented reality for those who don't know, and you're just out there playing in a parking lot or something, and you're just people are looking at you funny because they don't even know what you're looking at. But I mean, that's something right there too.
Well, that kind of happens already with some of the augmented reality games out there, but it's just not as exaggerated because you're usually dealing with a phone or something still. But
Yeah,
yes, it will get to that point. It might get to that point. I'm honestly hoping it goes more to the full dive. If you've ever watched anime like Sword Art Online, except
yeah.
without where people can die.
Well, the whole point was that the creator of the game had locked them into the game, and so if their helmet was to be removed,
Oh, that's just season one, but yes.
yeah. But I mean, that's what sets everything off. That's the first season. Um, yeah, but
Well,
yeah,
the systems were made where you can remove the helmets and everything. It's just the creator of the game of that game
yeah.
of Sword Art Online made a code made a special part of code and everything when when they started that game. He wanted to make a new world.
Mhm. Yeah, and it would pretty much bust their brain is the uh point to make about that, which
Yes.
no, it's not good. Um but yeah, no, I've seen that. I've seen a few other ones too, but I really do think like it will get to the point of Ready Player One, because how cool would it be to actually look like a video game character you'd like to look like, or one you can design and and live of, or whatever. Because right now it's basically what it is. Uh, Augmented reality. So you weren't making retarded Canadian pirate jokes after all. No, no, you'd be like for what Canada, it would be it'd be like E H would be really the one. A. So the Canadian pirate, a. Give me the poutine and some booty, huh? Oh goodness.
Oh.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see where gaming goes. But yeah, that I do think though that um Unreal Engine has done a whole lot of amazing stuff with its engine, because um if people don't know, UE4 was used for the first remake game of the Final Fantasy games, and I think it was for the second one too, but I'm not too sure. But the issue of it is that Unreal Engine is also working with CD Projekt Red for The Witcher 4, um, which was interesting to hear, because I mean CD Projekt Red has their own engine, but engines are costly and all sorts of things. So there's that. But it's one of those things where they're kind of switching over now, and it'll be interesting to see how that partnership works going forward. Because I thought I heard that for the Witcher games, they were actually going to redo, well, not redo, but like renovate or whatever the first game. Because if you were to go back to play the first game, it's not pretty. But they may do it graphically. I'm not too sure. But I mean, the demo they showed, the tech demo they showed of Witcher 4, that was impressive. It just looked amazing, and Unreal Engine 5 is simply just going to get better, because there's nowhere else to go but up on that regard.
Oh yeah. Well, a lot of the games coming out and everything graphics wise are quite quite spectacular when it
Mm.
comes to their graphics. So I mean, I don't know if we're going to be hitting a peak for that soon or what, but it's getting pretty lifelike for a lot of them.
Yeah, and I mean, I know there's other engines out there, but for now, Unreal Engine has a bigger grasp, because it has a name. Obviously, because it's connected to Epic, which is connected to Fortnite and
Right.
all that stuff. Um, but I mean, from your point of view, like I'm sure you at least have heard of Unreal Engine, but from your point of view, what do you
Well,
see
I'm
as?
a developer as well, so I actually use Unreal Engine.
Oh, really? What are you developing? A game?
So there's a couple games that are being worked on by my company, but
Oh,
one of the ones that we have out right now is called Meowware.
hmm. Meowware, as in WARE.
Yes,
Okay.
it's like a play on malware.
Right. Why is what's this cat dancing on my desktop doing? Oh, you get that meowware. Ooh, man, that's not good. Nope.
It's not that, but yeah, that's kind of like the idea of it. We actually will be probably implementing some kind of like virtual pet cat or something into the game. It is a virtual simulated desktop type of thing.
Oh, wow. Well, and that's pretty interesting. So, what is your title then in what you do, or do you not do that?
For Meowware, I am a programmer.
Programmer. Okay, all right. So what has with so that you said that, what has been your experience in with Unreal Engine 5 as a programmer?
I enjoy it. I've been doing mostly learning the
Hmm.
blueprint system.
Hmm.
So it's very it it's still programming, but it's much more visual and it makes things a lot. I don't know. It's very it's not the same as regular program, traditional program. I'm more used to traditional programming, but
Right.
it's it's still feels similar
Mhm.
but different.
Yeah, I just because it's always nice to get a second opinion on that because I don't. I've tried messing with Unreal Engine and I'm like, I don't know if I should be doing this.
It's a lot when you first open it up and you don't really know what you're doing. If
Yep.
you, watch a few tutorials on how the designer works and all that to actually, get that down, the blueprinting itself is a little more outright, it's a lot.
Mhm.
But when you get things down, it starts making it a little bit easier, I guess, when
Mhm.
you really get an idea of what you're doing.
Yeah.
But, there's a lot of nodes and everything, you just gotta really understand what they do, which is a lot of it's just trial and error for that.
Yeah, and I'd imagine as such, but I mean, um, because I mean, I know for Unreal Engine, there was a stipulation like if you made $1 million or more, you had to give a certain percentage to Epic or yeah, to Epic for using it. But I mean, for what it's worth, it is a free program to use. Um, I'm not sure about.
That's a licensing thing. Unity has a similar thing, except I think they got worse on it, which is why a lot of people moved away from them.
Well,
But all of game most game engines except for, like, certain I think Godot and stuff don't do it, but most game engines that are, like, more commercial
mm,
usually have a licensing type of thing like that.
yeah, yeah, and that makes sense as well. But the but yeah, I just when I saw the a while back when they did that tech demo for UE5, when I saw that, I was like, that's insane for the all the nanite stuff and all that. And they just added from the tech demo from Witcher 4, they added a bunch of different features with that too to kind of help with like the I think it was like the foliage they were talking about.
Mm,
Um and a bunch of other stuff. But it's just insane of how that engine is. And um I'm not sure how the other ones stack up, but it feels like Unreal's going to be on top for quite some time, especially with all the other capabilities like their metahuman capabilities.
yeah. More and more I see people either using it more or just moving over to it.
Mm,
I mean, yeah, there's still some people out there. There's still plenty of people out there using Godot, Unity,
mm,
but more people I've seen moving over towards Unreal.
yeah, which makes sense because Unreal is putting out this type of product, which again, you know, beyond the scope of the licensing thing, you can use for free, um, and it's just so good at what it does. It's not perfect. No engine is. Don't get me wrong, but Unreal Engine has this quality that has improved over time, and it's just going to keep getting better. Because look, if they got this like almost lifelike photorealism stuff on this one, I can't. I don't know what they're going to do for the next one because that's just insane.
True.
But no, that's pretty interesting that your company uses it. But yeah, for CD Projekt Red, they're using UE5, and I did watch that video of the tech demo. It looked great. Um, I accidentally when I was trying to kind of figure out what the place was they were at, I didn't watch the. I must have missed it or didn't watch the whole video all the way through. But I said it was like in Skellige, which is a name of a place in the Witcher books, but it's actually Kovir, which is a port city in the books, um, and the games part of the games as well. So there's that. But yeah, it's just it'll be interesting to see where it goes. I know a lot of people are very upset with the CD Project Red. Not all, part of it being the engine, and part of it being their political stance and stuff, like the whole
Right.
yeah. And so that'll be interesting. But at the end of the day, though, uh, the sales and the amount of money they make off that will speak more than people's disagreements.
That's true.
And the funniest thing that's been at least for me, or just like one of those things in life, is you have a lot of people who will, and I'm pretty sure you've seen it too. You have a lot of people who will, like, this company does thing, they disagree with it wholly, whatever, or like to switch stuff, right? You've probably seen a lot of people talking to switch stuff to switch prices, but at the end of the day, though, they're still going to make money off the product.
Well, I'll tell you right now, no matter what the price of the Switch 2 or anything is, that will always sell because Nintendo has Pokemon.
It's true. Pokemon, Pokemon, Mario, Legend of Zelda, and what's another one?
Oh
Kirby.
no, yeah, those are all good, but all they need is Pokemon.
Really? Why do you say that?
So Pokemon has been generation. How like how, at this point, even even after we had Pal World come out that
Yeah,
tried to, well, they did kind of put Pokemon, up against the corner, but Pokemon has already turned the tables on
yeah,
just legally.
legally,
And
yeah,
even doing that, people still are all over Pokemon.
yeah, and the cards too. I've seen people.
Yep, the
Uh,
cards are also always big.
yeah. There was that one. There was like I didn't know they did it, but they have like these vending machines that sell the packs, and there were a lot of people trying to scam them or scam the thing, and they usually like scalpers and whatnot. They try to sell them for more. But
Oh, not just that. Did you see what was happening a lot of across the US with new Pokemon release? Actually, it probably happened world in some other areas of the world too when they released. But people would mob the stores basically. They had to limit what you could order for Pokemon packs
yeah,
because of things like that.
yeah, because people were, hey Kita, how are you? Because people were buying the packs up, and either they were reselling them at a ridiculous high price or they were just buying up to have them. And I mean, they're
Yep.
not cheap by any standard. Don't get me wrong, the
Nope.
Pokemon packs are, but it's so interesting to see how well even the card side of it is still doing. I don't even know if people play the game of Pokemon in the card sense. I just think they do it for.
Some people do. I used to do a lot of frequenting of card game shops, played a lot of card games like Yu-Gi-Oh, Vanguard, and stuff. But
Mhm.
there were, even in my small area, there was a community of Pokemon players. There's not really so much anymore, but there are still always collectors.
Yes, and I think that's what it's turned into, is collection of the cards, and it's usually like the rare ones, right? Like, what was it? There was like a someone who got a Charizard one that was like worth 3,000 or something like that. I can't remember. It's just insane of how far they go. But that's with any card collection, right? Like they'll go, like there was the whole Magic one, Magic the
Oh
Gathering,
yes,
when they did the.
Magic the Gathering. They made the One Ring
Yeah,
from Lord of the Rings.
yeah, loved. My boys who are now adults loved. Oh, love the Pokemon? Oh, I'm not surprised. The but yeah, I remember because there was a video of it, and it was like worth $1 million or something like that. It's just
It
it's
sold for, I forget. I think it might have just been 1,000,000, but yeah, it sold for a large sum.
jeez, it's insane. And one guy got it. That's I would have kept it, to be honest, because people are
Well, it
gonna.
was a one of one, so
Yeah, if it's a one of one and it doesn't take up much space, you might as well keep it till you get too old. Then people are like, well, the Magic the Gathering has some staying power though, but it's not like the days of Beanie Babies. That was a different era where
yeah.
it didn't turn out very well for people who own
No, it did
Beanie
not.
Babies. You could throw those at people and you'd have to pay people to take them.
Right.
Oh my
It
goodness.
got bad with those.
Oh yeah, it was like collector's paradise during the '90s, but then it just like love Pokemon and Mario in the '90s. My grandboys like Mario too. Well, there you go. See, I'm sure the Mario movie, yeah, the Mario movie, and then you had the Mario Odyssey was a pretty good game.
And
Uh,
that's the big thing about Nintendo as well, is a lot of their stuff is generational. So, we grew up with it, whereas a lot of things when it comes to, like, Sony and Xbox and all that, a lot of their stuff isn't so much generational like that.
yeah, yeah, Sony or Mike. I will say though. because Microsoft now owns them. Minecraft.
That that is a that is a whole different type of beast. But yes, that is a big beast.
Yeah,
Minecraft is huge mostly because of what you can do with it.
yeah.
The mod community, which I've also been a part of the modding community for that. I used to develop for Pixelmon.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yes.
Wow. Okay, because I've seen a lot of people play Pixelmon. I haven't touched it myself, but regardless, that's pretty awesome that you were a part of that.
Used to. They banned me from the community.
Well, that sucks. Those monsters.
Politics, you know how it goes when,
Office, yeah,
people
office politics, yeah. So
No, not office politics, they just didn't like my personal politics, and they decided to dig into my social media and everything to get all kinds of things to ban me over.
it's dumb, dumb all around. But no, those at least for the time that you got to be, that was pretty awesome because I know um, there were a lot of people who've played the mod
Mhm.
Pixelmon, which they did kind of like get the Pokemon and all this stuff, and it was just funny to see. But I've never played it myself. I've played a lot of different mods, and that's one thing too is the modding community is what helps keep Minecraft going because honestly, while base Minecraft is great, I've played I've lifted off in a spaceship in a mod. I've played with
Yep.
magic in a mod. I've done um super suits in a mod. There's so many, and you have mod packs that combine these type of mods. Good lord. Sky
I mean, you wanna know something even great though? Like, without mods, if you've ever heard of Wynncraft, Wynn Craft,
mhm,
they built a full-fledged MMORPG within Minecraft without mods.
that's crazy. That's
Cutscenes and everything.
wow. That's incredible. The it just again like saying earlier, it just goes to show you the virality and the flexibility that Minecraft is, and that's what lends itself to that longevity of it. Because
Yeah.
I don't see it going on, especially since they have two different editions now, the Java edition and Bedrock edition. Like,
Minecraft, I believe, is going to be another generational one.
yeah, and they bought it from Notch for like a couple $1 billion.
Yes.
And I'm just like, probably should have held on to that one, but there probably was like certain aspects of why he didn't hold on to it, but I can't
Yeah,
remember.
he went into it at one point, I forget what the specifics were, but he did talk about it before.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Which kind of sucks because I remember the documentary that came out I think a few years after it came out, and it was showing like the progress of building the game and then getting it out. And I I don't know if you ever had a thought of what the impact would be, but because of like we said, the modding community and all this stuff, and even the non-modding community, it is unfathomable of what you can do with it as long as you stay within like the building of like Java or whatever. I think Bedrock's a little different in the programming matter. I've actually recently downloaded.
Uh, not really.
Is it still on Java or some other form?
Bedrock is still made with. Wait, is it? I think it's still made with Java.
Well, they separated the
It
two.
may
Like,
not be. It may be made with something, but it's very similar. Hold on,
mhm.
check it. I-
um,
I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure it's still coded with Java. I think it's just done.
um, is the Bedrock
Actually, it might
edge
be coded differently. I
of
haven't done anything for Bedrock itself other than play on it. So, but I know they have mods and everything now too.
yeah? It's they're called add-ons, and you can buy them through the
Right.
marketplace. I'm trying to search it up. Um, Minecraft,
Oh no, okay. So Bedrock uses
C++.
yeah, C++ scripting.
Yeah, that comes from the Bedrock code base, which was specifically created in C++ to run on
Yeah.
platforms that cannot support Java. So, um,
Well, here's the thing about the C++ and Java though is they can actually translate very well between each other.
mhm,
It's just you just have to translate the syntax.
yeah. Well, and they keep them separate though, for
Yes.
Minecraft. So my question to you is for either or, because Java mm, has been the thing for Minecraft for a long time, but it's been very heavy on like the CPU usage. But what with the C++ or the Bedrock version, which is a better mode or edition of, or they pretty much similar throughout?
Mm,
Because I'm pretty sure you've played.
they're pretty much overall not too different other than how their UIs and stuff are built.
Mm,
But the thing with with Bedrock is it allows um portability.
like on mobile, right? Like,
It allows on mobile, on console, all that.
mm,
Whereas Java is limited to pure PC.
mm, that makes sense. Yeah, I just didn't know too much of the difference other than they aren't, as far as I know, between the both, they're not compatible with uh, on either end. Even though I know you said they just need to change to translate the
Oh
syntax.
no, you can so I believe I'm not sure if it's still out there. There was a project out there where it had where you can actually have a connection between a Bedrock and Java
Mm,
client to one server.
mm,
I don't know if that project is still out there,
yeah,
but it's not like it's impossible to link them or anything. It's
yeah,
just it's a lot of work to actually link them together in that way.
yeah,
And there's no real need. The whole point of building them separately is the fact that is for them to have the portability aspect.
yeah, and I like the marketplace buying the add-on stuff.
For them to do it separately as well was to make it the marketplace a little more of a necessity
Yeah,
for you to actually use mods and stuff on Bedrock. Well, actually, it's not necessity to use
yeah,
mods and stuff on Bedrock. It's just makes it easier, and you can do it on mobile.
yeah, yeah. It makes the pro because it also helps supports the authors who create the mods, right, or the add-ons. Um, it's still not
That's debatable.
well.
There's a lot of authors out there that aren't really putting their work out there. They're taking other people's work and stuff. But
Yeah, that's
yes,
I understand that, but the ones
the
that
concept of it was to help. Yes.
yeah, there are some like the Feed the Beast ones are with permission, I believe, from the mod authors to do the add-ons because they have that whole group with Feed the Beast. Um,
Oh yeah,
but
they have a whole team working on those
yeah,
mods.
yeah, but beyond the Feed the Beast ones, I can see where you're saying on that regard because that does kind of make sense. But beyond that point, to what it's supposed to be like supporting the mod authors and whatnot. I'm sure Minecraft or Microsoft gets a cut, but at the end of the day,
Of course.
there are some of those add-ons that are like less than $10. So it's like they're really
Mhm.
making pennies on the dollar. But it's an easy way to do it. Instead of like adding on through a launcher client and all this stuff, this is actually Minecraft making a direct way to do it. Now, obviously, they say like if you do too many add-ons, something funky will happen. But at the end of the day, I think it's a better way of doing it rather than having like this separate area where people build a launcher client to like the API or whatever it is for Minecraft. But now Minecraft has this marketplace where it's sort of together instead of two separate areas. That's from at least from what I understand it. So
It's all in one thing, but There's when you're on PC, there are things like Curse Forge where you can have the whole Curse launcher and everything, where you can get mods and everything like that
Mm,
easy. Similarly to how they have their store for the
yeah,
pocket version.
yeah,
But
yeah. It is was, but great for it nonetheless. But anyway, it is the top of the hour, and
it is.
what I do is I set aside some time for us. Well, a little past, but regardless, I set aside some time for us to kind of promote ourselves, because sometimes I have people on who aren't creators, but at the end of the day, I still want people to kind of like, if they're on here and they're giving me their time, might as well uh, allow them to promote themselves and other stuff. So I did put your link tree. I think it's the link tree. Let me give it 1 second. I did, yes, your link. Oh, it's just your X. I don't know if you had a link tree up or not.
My link
Um,
tree is on my X as well,
okay. Well,
under
at
my
least
links.
it is linked to your X at least. So if they want to find, they can find that link tree there. I'll try to add the link tree to the whole of it. I thought I had added the link tree, but I'll have to get to it. Um, but regardless, if you'd like to promote yourself in your own way, the floor is yours.
Oh, well, I thank you.
Mm,
Um, Not really sure how well to promote myself. I'm just your average fancy neighborhood Slenderman here.
mm,
Uh, I do some gaming, some politics streaming. I mostly shit post over on X.
mm.
So if people want to follow me over there, but like I said, I do some development. So wishlist Meowware on Steam.
Nice. That's pretty up. And you're on a bunch of different platforms as well. Uh,
Yes, I stream on pretty much all of them except for Facebook, the
Facebook,
major platforms.
the major platforms, yeah. Almost feels like Facebook is becoming MySpace though at a certain point because it's really
It
just
really does.
yeah, it's becoming the retirement home of Grandma. Why don't you come to this other place? I don't want to do that. This Facebook place is pretty nice. Oh goodness sake. But yes,
Exactly how it feels.
goodness. But again, his I'll try to get his link. Actually, you know what? I want to see if I can. I possibly can do it right now. Let me see. Hold on. There we go. No. Bum. There we go. Okay. Why don't I? Oh, there you are. Ah, there we go. Why did I not? Okay, there we go. Yeah, I'm trying to edit video. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna put his link tree down below. That because it includes already all your stuff. I just don't know why I didn't add it in the first place. But all right, there it is for the YouTube side. Thank goodness for that. All right, there we go. Um, I'll do the YouTube one later, Rumble one later. But yes, go check out his link. I will try to change over the one I have there with his link tree because that'll include all the links he has. But I've stopped by his a few times. He's playing games. He's doing all the stuff. He's very dapper, very gentlemanly. So there you go. Why not stop by a very gentlemanly, slender man?
Thank you very much.
You're, you're welcome. The words just came out as that. But anyway, from my end of things, whether you're on the Rumble side or YouTube side, if you wouldn't mind leaving a like, leaving a comment, or sharing the content, all that stuff, every bit that helps with the engagement factor is much appreciated because not only does it help being seen more, like all content creators want to. I mean, let's be honest about it. But also, it helps with having other people on, like Sir Slender, like, um, let's see, I had on Tundra Tactical. I had in my previous guests. I've had on so many people, over 200 various guests. Uh, Zombie yesterday. I've had, yeah, it's a lot of people. But I enjoy doing it all the same because I get to talk to so many creator and not, and that's why I do it. And your help with the engagement on either end is much appreciated. So don't um, don't worry about the sorry, I copy the link from a link. I also have a my own link tree as well, and all right, stop the banner, and there we go. And you can go down to it's also on the description on both ends, Rumble and YouTube, and you can go down that link right there. You go down that link. That link will take you to where Twitter X. It'll take you to where you can find my email. Also take you to find like a Discord link, but it's mostly for just DMing. I don't run a server. I don't have the mental bandwidth to do that. So there is that. Um, but regardless, that is on both Rumble and YouTube. And of course, one more thing. Of course, I am part of the uh, creator program on Rumble. I have been for a bit, but I also a while back there's a company called Proton on Twitter X, and they were advertising for their own partner program on there, and so I decided to just see and go if I could even get it all because I didn't believe I would. And then 24 hours after I did, they're like, "Hey, you're in," and I'm like, "Oh, oh, this is not going to be good." But regardless, I'm in. I'm part of the partner program, um, and the reason why I even went into is because I do use uh, the program itself, uh, or some of their stuff. Like they have Proton Mail, Proton VPN. They have a Proton Drive and the password manager. But at the end of the day, I'm promoting the Proton Mail one because I use it on the daily. There are three things I let people know that they offer, but they do offer a lot more. One is they offer uh, the ability to make a email alias. It's sort of like creating a mask for yourself, and if you go into like a business whatever, make an email with them, you can use that email alias that if they decide to get spammy with you, and there's some businesses that do that, you can just flick that alias email off, and you won't be getting anything more from them. It's basically a mask to cover your actual email, and it will direct email to your actual email address, but once you turn it off, they can't get you anymore. So there's that. And of course, another thing they do is they offer that uh, great protection from spam and scam sort of thing. So like, I'm pretty sure many of you have like AOL, iCloud, or Gmail. If you have to use YouTube, you do have to have a Gmail account, unfortunately. Um, they will it will do great on protecting against the spam and stuff, sort of like having your own bodyguard for your inbox. Maybe once in a while something will sneak in through, but usually they'll tell you like if it's a phishing email, possible phishing email or whatnot. So always be mindful of that. Always be mindful of any email you open if you don't recognize it, or like bells are sounding off in your head. So always be mindful of that. And of course, the other one is that they don't sell ads, or they don't go scan in your inbox to do so. At the end of the day, your inbox is your inbox. And again, you can go to that link. They have a free plan, and they also have a paid plan. Um, I do like a bigger one. It's like Proton Unlimited, whatever, which involves all their other products. But again, at the end of the day, like the old Billy Mays used to say, I wouldn't promote a product I didn't use, and I use Proton Mail. So if it interests you, or you're just wanting to give a quick look, that's fine. And if you don't do anything with it, that's fine too. At the end of the day, I may get a little something out of it, but it's not really why I'm in it. I'm just trying to see if I can do something with it, and who knows? Maybe I'll be maybe I'll be number one someday. All right, but thank you for that. And again, you can just check it out and make up your own mind. But I do promote it for its privacy and security because they do a good job on that. So there's that. Um, but yeah, I that's pretty awesome. Uh, that you get to do all these things, like be a developer or whatever, and also got to be involved before you got kicked out for stupid reasons for the Pixelmon mod, because there's a content creator I used to follow. His name was Direwolf, and he would be within the modding community. Like he would be there with the authors who'd made the mods for the PC side, and it was just interesting that you could have this sort of thing where they were in Minecraft and they were building stuff together and whatnot. Um, but yeah, the ability to do so much. Like one mod I really like is Galacticraft.
Oh
Uh,
yes, I love Galacticraft.
I don't know if, yeah, it's I usually try to play with it in a mod pack then by itself because there's Galacticraft and there's like Galacticraft extra planets and whatnot. But I
Mm.
really enjoy doing sort of like the mod pack thing because like Sky Factory. My first mod pack was Sky Factory 3, and I really enjoyed that one, even though it was kind of complicated. But I do enjoy that, and there have been ones like there's one I really like. Is Astro Block is a mod pack, and it's like you basically start like in a space station in an asteroid field, and you're building your way to get back to Earth. It's been kind of like not destroyed, but overrun by robots or whatever. And what's another one I enjoyed playing? Stone Block. I've
Oh
enjoyed
yeah, Stone Block was fun.
what?
I played Stone Block as well. That one was fun.
Yeah. Um, I played well, and the funny thing was, and I didn't notice this. It'd been a while since I even played it, but they had made a 2 and 3 because I hadn't played it in a while. They had made a 2 and a 3. I'm like, what is like a what?
I didn't know they made a 3.
yeah,
Last one I played was 2.
there's a number 3 out there, and
Mm.
same with Sky Factory. I didn't know they made. I know they made a 4, but I didn't know they made a 5, and it's real interesting to see um, what people come up with, not only mods but mod packs. Like Thaumcraft is a mod I enjoy. Thermal expansion is another one I enjoy.
Oh
There,
yeah,
and
thermal
you
expansion.
combine, yeah, you combine all of them in a mod pack, and you get to see a lot of things either work together or not.
My favorite things with thermal expansion is making infinite power sources.
Oh, really? How do you do that?
Uh, the last one I did was a giant thermal conductor tower.
Interesting. I There was one. It's called Draconic Evolution,
Yep,
and you, and
that
you can,
played with that one.
yeah. The funny part is that if you aren't careful enough, that generator could blow your world sky high.
Yes, that reactor can do a lot of
The-
damage. A whole
that's
lot of damage.
Oh yeah, that's been funny to watch some people who are like, I don't know what's happening, but it doesn't sound good. It really will take out your base and everything else within it. Um, but yeah, it's just a great time being able to get to play with those different things. Uh, but yeah, I am enjoying playing the Bedrock. Not only the Bedrock edition, but with that they allow you to do realms for Minecraft, which is sort of like
Right.
you can pay
It's
for
kind
that.
of like they do the server hosting for you. You can also just host your own server.
Yeah, well, and I did that before too, but this is sort of like a convenience factor,
Yeah.
right? Where instead of you have to go to like, I think it was like Alinks or something like that. That was one I went to a long time ago. Now you can just go. It's all in one house basically, and that's
Well, you can go to a third party like server host in general and for them to host your you could also just host the server yourself.
on your own computer.
If you want to do it on your computer, if you have like a server computer as well, you could do it on that. But yeah, you can totally do it on your own computer.
Yeah, I don't have that, but yeah, it's just with that ability to do so, it's pretty interesting. But yeah, it's just a convenience factor. When you have all your stuff in one
Yeah.
place, people usually won't go outside of that because it's all there, which is a pretty good service to have. Um, but I know I was asking earlier about um, the many platforms and stuff you're on. But for your experience, because I am on Rumble and YouTube, f- for your end, what has been your experience with Rumble so far?
Um Mostly I just go live and do my thing. I
Mm,
haven't I've had some people, like I said, I have some, like, people pop in every so often, but it's not, I don't really get a whole lot of viewership right now, but I'm not, like, the most consistent right now either.
right, and that's understandable. I mean, I don't I don't consider myself consistent because I'm not always at the same time, and
Mhm.
because I work around my guest time, right? Because trying to be flexible. Um, but I also have a full time job, so I don't like holidays. Like the past Memorial Day, I was off for for like 4 or 5 days, and a lot of people are still streaming during that time. Now, some still go visit family, whatever. But you still see a lot of people stream during the holidays. I'm like, I
Mhm.
I don't I I enjoy this thing. I don't want to turn it into a full time job because it's very um, content creation as a full time job is very what's the word, rocky.
Yes.
It's like if you used to I used to do pizza delivery service or deliver pizza, but I know people who if you're a server or waiter or whatever or bartender, basically content creation is working for tips.
Pretty much.
And sure, you may get a sponsorship, sure you might get an ad read, but those are pennies to the dollar, basically. And so a majority of your stuff is going to come from either super chats or rants or whatever, and that'll be that. But beyond that scope, it really it really is working for tips. And I think a lot of people go into content creation. Not everyone, but I do think a lot of people go into content creation for the money slash get seen factor.
Well, yeah, a lot of people assume that they think that it's just gonna be some easy, let me just turn on my camera, talk for a bit, and we'll just get some money flowing in type of thing. But it's nothing like that. You actually have to put in the work. And
Mm,
that's why you'll see a lot of the content creators that have put in the work and everything, they don't stick with just content creation. They move on and create businesses and products and stuff.
yeah. Which sort of my thing too is like like the merch stores and stuff I get, but at the end of the day, I'm like, I just do this thing to enjoy it.
Mhm.
Everything beyond the conversational point has been a bonus. Um, cause I was once asked like, why don't I do merch store? And I said, what would I sell? probably, probably just a hat. I don't know. I just when someone says that to me, it just doesn't sit right. Like it's not why I do this. I'm not in it for the money. The money's a bonus, all that stuff. But it's just like when someone, to ask me about that, I just I can't. It's like the same thing with like how you see some of the content creators go get a little clickbaity with like their thumbnails or their
Yeah.
description titles, whatever. It really is just like I can't play that game because it's not a game I want to play. The game I want to play is the conversational aspect. It's not even a game. It's just I want to do the conversational aspect. But you see all the different like the I'm sure you've seen for like some thumbnails where like they have their mouth open wide or something like that.
Yes. You
I'm
see
just
those a lot.
I just like, what is this? It's just like, what the heck is this? Because I just can't do it. I can't do that because it doesn't sit well with me. Uh,
Mhm.
People do what they will with content creation. Don't listen to me on that. But you can't sit here and convince me that the only way you'll grow is if you play that game. And I'm like, no, that's not the only way to grow. But I get what you're getting at, that sort of thing. But I just nope.
It's a way to begin growing, but that in itself is not going to get you everywhere.
hmm Yeah, again. I know for what I do with this, the conversational aspect, it's going to be slow. But the importance of this is that I get to talk to people like you, and people who don't create, and people who don't show their face, or people who are former or current military, or people who are very smart in different aspects, like zombie who's very smart in the technical aspect. I've had artists on. I've had people who do certain different aspects for living. There's a whole smorgasbord of people out there, and that's what I do. It. I just like finding out that you used to once used to be on Pixelmon. That's incredible. I don't know if people ever ask you more about that if you've mentioned beyond, but I mean that's something to that's just a wow factor right there to some regard. But people wouldn't really get to know that unless they got to talk to you as an individual,
Right.
because you do this thing. You have a job, but you do this thing as well that you enjoy doing it. So that leads me to a question: is like, what even got you into this?
Um, I've always been into acting in musical theater throughout growing up.
Mm-hmm.
So back in I don't remember what years it was, but I was much younger.
Mm-hmm.
I used to do acting and modeling. I had an agent and everything.
Wow.
But it became a hassle to because I lived in South Florida at this time, and it became a hassle to drive to Miami all the time, at least for my mother. And I
Mhm.
did not have a car or anything like that, being a child.
Oh, wow.
So kind of just fell out of that.
Mhm.
And I've done some type of I've done some streaming in the past for mostly I've done like Brawlhalla. I've hosted community. I'm actually one of the people who kind of brought the community or the tournament community to Brawlhalla,
Oh,
where
wow.
it became where it competitive.
Mhm.
Because I started with actually running tournaments and stuff within the clan that I was a part of, Tricks,
Wow.
and then it became into a whole. They started giving us community color codes and things like that for
Mhm.
running our tournaments and all that. So I did a little bit of streaming back then, but I didn't I got into the VTuber stuff as a more recent or
Mhm.
last almost a year now.
Wow.
Yeah, almost a year now. It was mostly to supplement because I also do voice acting and everything.
What?
That's not under Sir Slender. That's under a separate thing.
Right.
That's under my actual name.
Well,
But
yeah.
yeah, I keep that separate because of the whole politics stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And the voice acting community is very liberal.
Yeah. Am I allowed to ask what you've voiced? Is it like anime you voiced in? Is it other stuff?
I've auditioned for animes. I haven't gotten any anime roles,
Mhm.
but I've done it's mostly like indie games and some things on some YouTube videos. I've s- s- yeah, it's mostly like indie stuff.
Yeah, because there was it's funny because when you talk about games, there was at least one game I voiced in, and it was the creator of it was I think it was I think they were using the Unreal Engine or something like that, and it was just like a walking simulator game that was really no action to it or whatever. It was basically just like point A to point B, that sort of thing. And
Mhm,
the creator of it was trying to look for voices for it. Just would you like to have your voice? And there was no money involved or anything like that, because I don't think they could have uh, um, that way. And so I had seen like I think it was on Steam. Yes, it's on Steam. The game's called Cat Interstellar, and CAT, not KAT, and it was just like he'd give out a bunch of different lines to voice, and he said, I could do as many as I wanted to, but I only did like one because other people and stuff. So I
mhm,
did one, and I if I were to play the game, I'm pretty sure I could find me, but it's been a while.
mhm.
So I can, to my credit, put at least one VA gaming to my name. So I don't know if it uses my actual name or another name, but like my Daramouthe or another one. But at the end of the day, I do in essence have a video game voice acting credit, and it's just like a line of like it's something about dog. I think is the creature is called dog. You know what? I don't know if I can bring it up or not. Give me 1 second. Um, but yeah, it was. I don't know how many years ago it was, but it was just him basically making a post on the forum for his game saying, "Hey, would you like to come on and, or here's some lines and would you like?" And of course, there was email back and forth, but I've probably long since deleted those emails, um, and all that stuff. But it was pretty interesting. Just like all I did was record it on a microphone, um, and then I sent him the file. I had to send it in like a wave, I think it was, is how I had to send it. Um, and all that. Let's see. Trying to find. Don't get down. There we go. Um, hoping it will. Nope. There we go. Cat. Where is it? Cat. 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 See. Cat Interstellar. Here we go. This is the game. It's not much of a game. Like I said, it's more of a walking simulator. But this is what it is right here. Okay, okay, there you see it. So this is basically what it is. Cat Interstellar episode 1. It really stopped in like 22, um but yeah, I voice the voice is in the beginning section of it, but I basically just say a line of like, "Oh, look, hey dog," or whatever. But yeah, that was a long time ago, and I think the last update for it was like September 15th, 2022.
Wow.
Yeah, it's incredible, but yeah, that was so long ago. January 14th, 2017, and it was probably maybe the same year or 2018 that I did the voice in. So there's that.
But hey, that's how it goes. That's how you get started and everything. I mean, a lot of voice actors that are bigger now started it with Pixelmon, just doing the voices of some of the Pokemon.
Really? So they weren't taken from the TV show?
No, they were not taken from the games or TV shows. It's well, they might have been originally. I think that's part of why we had trouble with Nintendo at one point because they did DMCA us. That's kind of
Dang.
why the Pixelmon team split up and everything initially, and
Wow.
ended up into two different versions of a mod and all that out there.
Mm. Well, I mean,
Um,
they were actual models of not the actual models of the Pokemon, but they did look like the Pokemon, so that makes sense.
Yeah, the modelers purposely do that to make it look like like the actual Pokemon models, but, I think the cries might have initially been stolen, but
Mm.
they were eventually replaced with all voice acting, yes.
War Turtle, War Turtle. I can remember a few, because I remember again I watched the anime back in the day, like on what was it, WB Kids was when you could find Pokemon, and you just be hearing
Yep.
like Squirtle, Squirt, Squirtle, Squirt, and all that stuff. Now some of the voices in the anime they were sounding very animalistic or whatever. But that's only maybe like less than 10, I believe, where they were that. Um, but again, that's quite a long time ago. Nowadays, you just hear the Pokemon say their name in the animes because you know. Uh,
Usually, it depends on the Pokemon. There are still some that don't actually, like, say anything, like Gyarados and stuff, you just hear a roar.
yeah, Gyarados. Yep. Go ahead. But Magikarp though, Carp, Carp, Magikarp, Carp.
Yeah.
Oh man, but that's pretty awesome to know though. I didn't know. I thought when I was watching an old episode of Achievement Hunter play Pixelmon, um, it sounded like they were the voices from the show. So, but I didn't know they actually were using people to voice them over. Which is, if you haven't watched the anime, it's kind of hard. But if you have, you can kind of get down the how they sound. Like some of those
Mhm.
Pokemon, man, they're very can be very hard in the throat depending on.
Oh,
So
yeah.
But yeah, no, that's pretty awesome. But yeah, I have not put it up there as an accreditation for that voicing, but I was like, you know what, I might as well try. He's offering it, why not? So I'm glad I got the opportunity. But yeah, it's so long ago um that existed that if I go in there now and try to find my voice, I'm pretty sure I'll miss it on the first time around because it's so long ago. Um, but yeah, so that's interesting. Yeah, because that was going to be my question of like, have you voiced the anime? But since you said you've tried and not got in, probably maybe for the best because it does seem very for at least like the English dub sort of thing. There have been some issues with not all,
Yep.
but some. And it sucks because
It's mostly but most of the issues come from localization.
yeah, which is the sad part about it because uh when we were talking about Skies of Arcadia, right? There was a story that came out or that I saw a few years ago where they basically didn't even localize it. They just put stuff in they thought was would work. And it's just that kind of audacity for these localizers that you get to play this game with someone else's work. Not even stuff that you own. Like you buy the right, the companies buy the right to what is it, to the license and all that stuff. But
Yes.
you're willing to change so much wording that you change the intent of what was said in the original. Now there's some things that can't translate over one to one. It's just not possible.
Well, of course, but there's always a way to maintain intent of the art.
Yes.
And that's the problem that these localizers and they a lot of them understand this and they just gloat at how they can make these changes. If you've seen some of the anime localizers, how they post on social media and everything.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's just been an interesting faction with it because it just goes to show you how there's not really much in America to go for them to do their own thing, and they're willing to take someone else's work and just crap on it.
That
And
seems to be a common thing, though, is people don't want to put in their own work and everything. They want to take others' work and just put their own message or otherwise behind it.
yeah, which kind of sucks for animation because you're starting to see that kind of slow leak into uh Japan and stuff where they're starting to change things around for that not to be the case because manga and anime have been able to do things that the US and stuff have not been able to. Um, and many celebrate um, that factor, but in America, you can't do what the Japanese do with their stuff with the manga and all that because there's a lot of stuff they touch on that are um, not appropriate. It's a little too fan servicey, as the kids would say. Uh,
It depends. Well, when you're looking at it through a Western lens, yes, at least with how our society and culture is over here.
yeah. Um, but it's just funny with all that going on, and yeah, I don't agree with it, but I do understand that some things can't be one to one, and you kind of have to find the next best thing. But yeah, it was one of those. I think we hear those stories about the blatant disrespect. Mm-mm, mm-mm. And especially when Sony bought Crunchyroll, and then bought Funimation, and then had Funimation roll into Crunchyroll. It was like trying to own the market, and then you see all those sites that got taken down because they were hosting the different animes and stuff.
Mhm.
It's just there's not a great option. You have all these different companies that have licensing and whatnot. And it's just sad, and at the end of the day, a lot of anime gets disappeared because of all the different licensing and stuff. One company like Netflix gets one thing and Crunchyroll gets another. It's just No, or Disney. I remember Disney got the licensing to do the Bleach. Though I'm not a Bleach fan, it still is a um, it's still well known and stuff. And to have
Right.
Disney get that license to show it on there, it's like I don't know about that. they, they might block some things.
Ugh.
They-
Disney
yeah,
Disney is just
it's a
I
bundle.
don't know what's going on with Disney.
It's a bundle of joy.
Not anymore. It's not. What do you Joy and everything was what they built that company on, and now they've just they've completely turned away from what they've built, the values they've built that company on.
Well, yeah, because I mean the true origin of why Walt Disney was made was because of Walt Disney, but he's been gone for so long, and there's really no people, and maybe Eisner was bad in some ways, but he was still best in others. And then you came to, as far as I know, Iger, and you're pretty much toppling the kingdom as it is. And I think it's this is a for me this is a classic reminder of how much kingdoms can go for, but they don't last.
Well, you got to remember it this way as well. Like when it comes to Disney, they built their entire brand, they built that entire kingdom on the whole aspect of family. Like
Mhm.
everything was about family.
Yeah,
Everything now that comes out of them is family bad.
yeah. It's been this weird thing where, I mean, it's not all of it, right? There's been some movies enjoyable, but it's just this thing of the feeling of pure disgust coming from a company you thought was about family, like you said. Um, but there's that. Oh, hey, Neuro, how are you doing? But yeah, Disney kind of folded itself over, and who knows how long it'll last after, but it's not going to be forever. Disney will one day perish like every other place in the world, unfortunately. Um,
Well, except for Nintendo because Pokemon.
yeah, well, yes, but that depends on how long they can carry Pokemon. They were like up to what?
Have you seen the different Pokemon that they just keep pumping out?
Yeah, I've seen it. I think they're like 1,000 or what? All right.
There's literally a Pokemon that's a trash bag.
Yeah, well, there's Muck, there's Grimer. They're basically dirty ooze.
I mean, that seems that's a little more standard, you know, slimes and everything are,
Well,
common in a lot of RPGs and stuff, but,
it depends on
trash
the
bags are not.
that depends on the RPGs you play.
What do you mean? Final Fantasy, slimes, Dragon Quest slimes, those are like some of the earliest monsters you fight in those games.
I know, but I'm talking about certain animes and stuff like that. Never mind.
Oh, well, if we're getting into animes, different kinds of slimes. There's clothes-eating slimes.
Yeah, the clothes melters and stuff. I
Yes.
I did like uh I reincarnated as a slime. That was a pretty good series.
Oh, yeah,
Um
that's a well, I haven't watched season 3 yet. I heard season 3 is mostly just them sitting around having meetings, but
uh,
from what I've read a lot of the manga or the light novel, and
yeah.
it's really good. It's really good. Really good story.
Yeah, I can't do light novels because of course manga was before them, but light novels for me are just like Reader's Digest. I get why some creators do it because it doesn't cost very much to draw. It doesn't cost too much time. They can just type it and go. So I understand that, and that's great. But I just can't do it because I do like that duality of the artwork, and then of course the wording and all this stuff, and then the story told. Like I enjoy Spice and Wolf is a good one.
Mhm.
I've watched. I'm collecting. I'm getting the um, manga rather than the because it's based off a light novel. I'm
Right.
trying to get the manga, but I did watch the first animation that came out, and then of course the sort of renovate the rejuvenated one that came out not too long ago, and it was great that they brought back the original voice actors for it, the main ones for both ends. It was pretty nice for that.
That's always good.
Yeah, yeah, I enjoyed it. Um, let's see, Food Wars is another one I enjoy. Um,
Yes,
there,
Food Wars.
there's there's many reasons to enjoy it, but the food is the good stuff. Um,
Exactly right.
yeah. Let's see. Of course, the reincarnated is a slime one. Um, what's another one I've watched? Um, dang. Uh, what is another one of the manga I have? And it's not Negima Magister Magi was another one I watched, and that's Ken
Okay.
Akamatsu. If you don't know, I watched some of that, although it was the anime was a bit off from the manga series. Um,
That tends to happen sometimes.
yeah, but beyond all that, there's been many. I haven't read any manga lately because it's just work and then doing the show, which I enjoy. But for you, what are some shows that you've enjoyed watching?
A lot.
That's
I
well,
watch a lot of anime.
uh,
So I'm literally even watching ones that are currently airing right now. So like I'm watching Unaware, Atelier, Master. I left wait, what was it? I left my A rank party to help my students I I don't remember the exact title of it. One of my favorite overall animes though is Denmachi. Is it wrong to try to pick up girls in a dungeon?
yep, that one, yep. Don Machi, yep, that one's pretty. The last one I saw was when they were in the dungeon fighting the dungeon monster, the monster of the dungeon or whatever it was. The voice of the dungeon, I can't remember. But it was so powerful that it was just
Yeah, that was the last season
yeah,
so far.
yeah, that was devastating. That was wow. Um Don Machi, of course, talked about what was it? It the one that's out there right now about the game, the Nerve Gear. What was that?
Oh, Sword Art Online?
Sword Art Online. That one I've seen at least the first season. I didn't really watch after uh, they got let out. Um, yeah, there's
After they get let out, it's still pretty much like similar type of storyline throughout different games, kind of, except
yeah,
they aren't getting killed. They're not getting killed directly because of the game, but
yeah,
stuff people are still killing and shit like that until like I think after Gun Gale, I think it just kind of like lightens up a lot more. And
yeah.
no, it doesn't actually because then it goes into Alice's story stuff where Kirito becomes a vegetable.
Oh, are you talking like a literal vegetable or is just like coma?
So it's like they're like in a game or something,
Uh,
and Alice is originally an NPC that becomes real or some shit like that.
yeah,
I didn't really watch Alicization yet, but
yeah.
my friend was really big in it and told me all about it. So I'm not entirely but Kirito, I do remember seeing clips and everything from when he was watching it. Kirito is basically just wheeled around in a wheelchair and doesn't talk or move.
Wow, that's I thought you meant a literal vegetable, but yeah, that's even worse. It's funny. It's
I
not
mean,
funny.
yes. Yes, literal vegetable.
It's a little. That's dumb. That's Some you just walk away from and don't see again. Um, and there are some old ones I used to watch too, like XXX Holic was one I
Yep.
enjoyed. Really liked the story of the manga. I think they did another like re XXX Holic, but I just like the story of um, learning about Watanuki because I mean it all stems from sort of the same universe, like with Card Captor Sakura. Card Captor Sakura was actually the first one that I ever saw, and that was sort of like they actually had a 10-year-old girl voice Sakura on the English dub side. That's the one I remember. Um, but beyond that, it was mostly just like Fox Kids stuff or stuff like that, where you had One Piece, take some stuff out that was deemed inappropriate and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. They never One Piece never aired when they did stuff like that, but I can give you a really good one. Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
They replaced guns with finger guns.
I will let the heart of the cards decide for me. Put down your finger gun. Um, yeah, that's too funny. But it is sad though because um, I remember watching Yu-Gi-Oh when I was younger, and it was always interesting to be like there when Yu-Gi-Oh is like down on the ropes. It's first is Pegasus, then it's Kaiba, then it's some Shadow Realm stuff, and all this, and you just like,
I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh! Just went off the rails. It wasn't even supposed to be about a card game.
really,
So Yu-Gi-Oh! Was just about Yu-Gi-Oh! Being the king of games, right?
yeah,
And the Duel Monsters was just like supposed to be just like a little side plot at one point, but it became a huge thing when they introduced it and everything, and it became a whole card game and all that.
yeah,
But chapter 0 of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Manga is actually they play various random death games.
wow. I didn't know that. I know the dice game, the dice stuff was starting to be introduced in the season, but I don't think that carried. Uh,
Dungeon Dice Monsters, yeah, that was another just like side plot thing, but they were trying something new, more product stuff, but the cards themselves kind of just keep going, so they don't really need all that.
yeah, and there are certain cards you can't play in the actual Yu-Gi-Oh cards, so there
Yes.
is that. Uh, Pot of Greed comes to mind.
Well, that's just Ben because I mean, it's 2 free cards.
Yeah,
2
yeah,
free cards in a card game is just overpowered in general.
and then I think they did that to the Egyptian gods, right?
No, the Egyptian gods just have on them that they cannot be used in a duel. Well, the original Egyptian god cards that they made. They made later ones that can actually that are like legally to be played. They're just very difficult to get out.
Wow, interesting.
But they also don't have like infinite power like in the anime. So
Yeah, Slifer, the Sky Dragon. Um, yeah, it's been a long time, but yeah, I'm grateful for when they got to come out and stuff, and it sucks that they got uh held back a bit because of certain reasons. But at the end of the day, um, it's always interesting to kind of go back over that stuff and just what do you remember and all that sort of thing. Because there was a lot of anime as a kid, mostly censored though, because like Digimon was very censored to some degree. But
yeah,
Digimon was one, and all the stuff. Fighting Foodons was another one.
I mean,
Uh,
hell, even Pokemon was technically censored.
yeah, oh, it was funny because I remember reading something on like their manga, and their manga was pretty. It could get pretty harsh.
Yes, it did. But
Oh
not just that, like, the original intro opening sequence
yeah,
had, like, Pikachu running, like, through a girl's legs or whatever, and
yeah,
she was wearing a skirt, but
yeah,
they took that out of the American version.
yeah. The pantsu, as they would call it, would be the wind would show the pantsu and all this stuff. Man, a lot of things you didn't notice as a kid. But anyway, it is the top of the hour again. and I think we're gonna start winding down from there because I do have to get
I
tomorrow.
have to start getting ready for work.
Yeah. Oh goodness. Oh, I'm sorry about that.
No, it's perfectly fine. We're doing perfectly fine.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Because I do one, I have to get the stream set up for tomorrow, and two, I do have to get up in the
Mhm.
morning. So I hear you. But anyway, we'll quickly get through this. For your stuff, his link tree is down below. But since you do your stuff so well, or at least I give the opportunity for people to promote themselves in their own way. Um, why don't you go ahead and do that, and I'll do mine, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So once again, everyone, I am so slender. I call myself a controversial connoisseur. I like to follow drama. I do some streaming of games and politics. I shit post mostly on X. If you follow me, then that'd be great. I also do a little bit of development and stuff. Like actually I could actually show off if I can pull it up real quick here. We have a demo. We have a demo as
Mm,
well. So you can play. I don't know if the demo's out yet, but it should be out for the Steam Next Fest.
mhm.
But let me go ahead and I can show off here if I can pull up. Oh my, I have a lot of. Oh, there we go.
Yep.
I can share my Steam screen here. So
Yep.
this is Meowware, the game that we are developing. It is out on Steam. It is two
You have
ninety nine. We might do some sale on that at some point.
your
It
it's
is
not
a
up.
demo.
It's
It's
not up.
not up.
No, it's not up. You
Oh,
have to there's a at the bottom, there's like a start screen share. It's like a little TV with an arrow in
yeah,
it.
I hit that. Hold on. Let me try again.
Yeah. You should click on the window that shows the item you want. I have
That is
presentation.
yeah, that is what I'm doing. I'm hitting share and it's just not
That's interesting.
okay. Yeah, it's just closing out right away when I hit that.
Oh,
Oh, I can try it this way. Let me just pull it up as a.
yeah, I wonder why it's not doing that.
I'm not sure if it's because I'm doing it through uh,
Oh,
like a
oh,
window and not a browser, but I'm just gonna do try it this way. Is that working?
I don't see any difference.
Okay, I guess screen share is just not working for me.
Okay.
So, Meowware on Steam, it's like malware, but meow.
Well, actually, you know what? I do have. Give me 1 second. I do have Steam up. Uh, uh, Here we go. It's. I believe it's. No, no. Turn off the music. I believe this is the correct one. Give me 1 second. Um, is this?
Yep,
Is this
that is it.
okay? Yeah. So right. So this is the one you're talking about, right?
Yes.
And puzzle-based clicker time attack game with nostalgic 1990s computer themes and cat culture. Click, type, and navigate through a litany of puzzles and memes to clear all the pop-ups on the screen. Which 90s right there. But yeah, that looks pretty neat. It's very old school, very old school.
Right. It's supposed to simulate like a Windows 95 type of feel.
Mm, mm. But that's pretty awesome when you make that with a group of people.
It's just me and it's just me and one other person,
Yeah,
but we had some people contributing like art and things like and I think I don't remember if there was anyone else that did anything code wise, but we did have art contributions.
that's pretty awesome. But yeah, you can go again. That's how it's spelled. Meowware. They do have a demo version, and that's the paid version right there. Um, but beyond that point, give it a look. His link tree is right here. It's not on the Rumble side yet, but it is on the YouTube side. But you can just you know copy paste that or whatever, and go from there. And if he's worth a follow, why not? Why not? He's a very dapper gentleman, and uh, can't go wrong with that. That's for sure. Um, but anyway, and again, thank you for that, Mister Sir Slender. For my end of things, whether you're on the Rumble side or the YouTube side, if you wouldn't mind leaving a like, comment, or follow, anything that helps the engagement factor is much appreciated, because not only does it help in being seen more, like all content creators want to, it also helps in having other people on, like Sir Slender, like um, Tomby, like Tundra Tactical, like Cams, like so many other people. At the end of the day, I do this thing to kind of reach out to people uh, to talk about whatever, creator or not. I am not specific to one group. I am a whole field. So thank you all for that. And of course, I have a link in the chat. Oh, thank you for that, Neuro. I have a link in the chat as well. You can go to that. You'll find it's on both areas. You find my um, you can find my Twitter X. You can find my email. You can find my a link to Discord, but it's mostly just for DMing. I don't have a server. I'm not sure I'll ever will, because it just requires a lot more mental bandwidth I'm willing to spare. So you can go there and find me in my places, and also YouTube and Rumble are in there too. And also, again, I am part of the Proton partner program. Uh, if you are wanting to try something new for mail, email, if you don't want to have to deal with spam, if you want to use an alias email so that if a company gets spammy with you about stuff, you can delete that and they can't send you anything more to your actual email. If you want a company that doesn't try to look into your email inbox and try to sell you ads, Proton is a place to try. At the end of the day, they have a free side and then they have a paid side. You could do more with the paid side, but the free side offers some same basic stuff. It's just you could do a lot more with the paid side. So if you're interested, there's a link below. I use it like Billy Mays, who used to do the OxyClean, would say, if I didn't use the product, I wouldn't promote it. So I use this product. I promote it for the privacy and security that I know a lot of people would like to have. And though this is the internet, so it's not 100% security. But again, give it a look. If it's worth it to you, great. If it's not, that's fine. I may get something a little from it, but it's not the end of the world for me if I don't. I'm just promoting a product I believe in and use. Thank you for that. Tomorrow is protect your email privacy. Okay. I thought he was saying something else. But tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern, I get to have back on the one and only Kaiju. I've had him on multiple times, and we'll get to see how he's been up to and all this stuff. But he's a VTuber as well, but he
Oh.
uses a VTube Studio, so he uses some of the free assets in there, and he uses like the black cat one in that. So it's always fun when he comes on and switches between the different avatars. But regardless,
Nice.
yeah, he'll be on tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. So I hope you will join me for that. And the last thing I do with my guests before we head off, and I'm mostly just gonna head off tonight, no extra bit, is a thing I like to do called questions from a hat. So what it is about a hat from Mumble, and I put some questions inside it. Now, obviously, um, what happens is that you, my guest, get two freebie questions from the hat. However, if people want more questions below the hat, they have to give a Rumble rant for it. I'm not monetized on YouTube, so there's that. But if you're on Rumble, it doesn't matter the amount. Could be one, could be 500. Doesn't matter which one. All that matters is that you have to give a Rumble rant after the two in order to get more questions out. Otherwise, it'll just be the two. So let's start with the first one. Reaching in, not even looking in. Let's see where we're at. All right, there we go. Here's the first question. Let's see what it says. It says, if you could instantly master any musical instrument without practicing, which would you pick?
Oh, That's an interesting one.
Well, would you want to in the first place? Would you want to master an instrument?
Well, I've always been musically inclined and everything. So I didn't, I didn't get into everything about my past and all that, but I do a bit of karaoke singing and stuff on my streams as well at times. So I am already a master of my, well, not, I am not a master of my vocals. My vocals do slip up every so often. I
Yeah,
guess I would have to say my voice then, so I could be a complete master of my voice.
there you go. And you sound so eloquently too when you said that, so I believe you're getting there.
Oh, thank you.
All right, and here's the next one. Oh, dang it, I dropped it. Hold on.
Oops.
Oops. Oops. Ah, all right, here we go. It's what happens when you drop. Don't drop it. All right, let's see what this one says. What sound what sound or noise do you enjoy hearing? Or what sound sounds pleasant to you?
Well, there's a lot of things. I think one of the things I do enjoy hearing the most as of a lot more or just in general like on a daily is we have these squirrels that come and we feed them and
Oh.
you get and that we have the table where we feed them like right outside the window of our
Mm,
kitchen and they are very loud. You can hear them like eating like that. They'll just be sitting on the table. They'll like stare in the window sometimes at you and they'll just be like,
wow. Guys, can you calm it down? I'm trying to eat over here. Guys are so noisy. That's actually pretty awesome. What do you feed them? Do you just feed them like regular squirrel feed or?
we get a mixture of wildlife squirrel feed, which is like corn and sunflower seeds and stuff.
Wow.
It became a thing because there was a storm a while back and ended up rehabilitating two squirrels
Oh.
that got separated from their mother and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And they come back once in a while and say hello.
well, one of them does. One of them died.
Oh.
My
Oh.
favorite one.
Why
We,
did
oh,
you? Oh, go ahead.
that one was amazing.
Yeah.
We I raised them and everything, rehabilitated them. We let them free to it,
Mm,
like where they still stayed nearby and everything, but they were getting accustomed back to nature. The
mm.
one he, I would go out one day. He was up in a tree, and I would just call him. His name was Sir Nibblesworth, and
Yeah.
I would be like, "Hey Nibbles, what you doing, buddy?" And he'd start jumping tree to tree, climbing down, and then he'll climb up on me, rest and
Oh.
like sit on my shoulder.
Uh,
He got poisoned or something, though. I don't know what happened, but
and sex. Oh,
yeah,
that.
the other one just went pure wild.
Jeez. Oh well, you're so nice. I'm like, woo! Oh gosh, good lord.
Yeah, he runs away from us now, so
Wow. Oh, that sucks. But I mean, that was nice. At least you got some time with one. Because I know
yeah,
there's some people who raise like raccoons as pets, and there's like I think sugar gliders are another one would get raised as pets as well.
yes.
Um, but at the end of the day, that's pretty awesome that you get to do that because not a lot of people, a lot of more or less, you'll just end up seeing dead squirrels on the side of the road. So that's part of life on that point. Um,
Right.
but anyway, beyond that point, I do want to thank all those in chat for coming and watching. I know what I do uh, is something new, something unique, and I know that's not the thing that gets a lot of views. But that to me, what matters is that I do this thing because I get to talk to people, like I said, like yourself and so many others, and it's been a blast. And thank you too, Sir Slender, for coming on. I know probably out of the norm of what you do for some things, but I hope to bring you. You're always welcome to come back if you'd like.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
of course.
But thank you for giving me some of your time and coming on, and I hope may fortune find favor in your sales, and I'll leave it at that.
Yes. Thank
You're
you.
not a
It's a pleasure and an honor.
oh, you honor me, good sir. Tally ho, tally ho. Bloody hell! Come here for tea and crumpets, and all I get is rascals throwing stones at me. The little buggers. I actually, the funny thing is, I've been listening to on YouTube. I've been listening to the BBC dramas of Sherlock Holmes, and
Oh, nice.
yeah, it's been pretty. There have been a few I've kind of put off the side as like watch later. Um, One is based upon a reference, and the other is an actual of done by Sir Doyle. But
Mm.
I do like this. It's like you get the Victorian like, uh, Holmes, why are you doing this? This is so outrageous for you. It's like, oh dear, Watson, just hold yourself together, please, and stuff like that. But then again, there was also the stuff like The Witcher too, like, oi, Witcher, what you up to, Witcher? I see another monster's coming through there, Witcher. Is there something wrong? Stuff like that. So I have the urge to buy a hotel. Maybe you should do that. Maybe you should do a Monopoly version, Sir Slenderman Monopoly, and you could have creepy pasta tokens or something like that. Yes, welcome
Ooh,
one and all to my Slenderman Monopoly. That's right. If you don't pay up, you too will disappear.
it's not a bad idea.
People be like, "What's the payment?" You'll find out soon enough. Um,
Exactly.
but you're not a bad guy. You're just a slender man, as we said before. But anyway, it's too funny, man. But again, like I said, thank you, chat, and thank you, Mr. Slender, for coming on. And of course, as always, I end the show with another music video called One Day With You by Pogo. Again, tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern, with the always funny and yet sometimes little troublemaker Kaiju. I hope you'll stop by for that. And I shall see you next time, everyone. Bye.